All right, all right. Let's do it. It's just got the crew back in the building. Us three and Craig. That's why I can't even do the intro, man. That one little joke, man. That got me laughing so hard, man. But yeah, man, welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast, where we talk about the fake stuff and we talk about gambling and the fake stuff. That's just what we do here. Got the crew with me. The craft man, as always. What's going on, man?
Shit, nothing much. Same old. But talking about Craig, gonna tell everybody who Craig is. Craig's our recording guy. He's like a little bear that pops up in the bottom right. He just hangs out with us, and he's the one who records all these sessions. So it's just me, Chris, Matt, and Craig.
Just the four of us, man. Just the four of us. Oh, man. C Swizzy, what's going on, man?
Not much. Yeah, y'all gotta quit hating on my man Craig, man. Craig just there.
Hey,
He just bearing it all, bro. Just bearing it all down there at the bottom.
As far as I can tell, Craig just part of the crew now. Just us three, Craig, we just rolling. Oh man, people listen to us like these dudes are just idiots, man. They just dumb. But well, hell, we're gonna break down week 13, man. Week 13 playoffs. They coming soon. We talking about a couple weeks away. Start gearing up for them. But before we do break these games down, Craft man, why don't you hit us with the news?
Hey, everybody, it's Wednesday, so you know that practice reports are out, and they all about the same. But shit, I'm gonna run through these, so just bear with me. ETN is limited. This is all on Wednesday. So ETN limited. Najee Harris was sidelined today, and Jaylen Warren got cleared to return to practice. And from his own mouth, he said that he should be back in, but I don't know how much we trust in players. But Tevin Coleman, we don't trust what the players say. Tevin Coleman, he got elevated. He was on the 49ers practice squad. He's been all over the place. He ended up back with the 49ers, and he's coming up in the world again. So he might be out there for 49ers this weekend. As far as the Rams go, I think they're shutting it down. Stafford, Aaron Donald are both out this week. Not going to see them. McCaffrey missed practice today. Romeo Doubs returned to practice. J.K. Dobbins returned to practice. Joe Mixon returned to practice. Jamar Chase was limited. Damian Harris is going to be out tomorrow, so it's Ramondre time. Aaron Rodgers MRI come back good. He was sidelined today, but he said he expects to play on Sunday. And Goddard, hopefully he's going to return as soon as his IR stint's over, as early as he can get back. Justin Fields was limited. McKinnon was sidelined at practice Wednesday. Mike Williams was sidelined. And Robert Saleh said he is still hopeful that Michael Carter could play on Sunday. That was a mouthful. But we're going to talk about it more when we get to the games. But got to hit them practice reports. It's part of it.
Yeah, like Kraft said, man, we're going to break it down game by game, and we'll probably drop some news as we go. I'm sure we might even missed a little bit. Who knows? But I don't know. Maybe we got it all. And if we did, give us a 5-star review. And but yeah, shoot, Wednesday night. So when everybody listens to this, it'll be Thursday. We got Thursday night football. Bills, Pats. The Bills, they favored by 3.5. Patriots. I meant the over and under is 43.5. So some Thursday night football action. Josh Allen versus Mac Jones. Mac Jones had a nice little game last week. The best game of this whole season. I was going to say career, but I don't know. Tough matchup versus Buffalo, though. What you think, Crab?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough, but I think this game is gonna be might be a little shootout. But the Bills' defense has kind of been wavering a little bit. They got a lot of injuries on defense right now. I don't really look at their defense the way they looked at the start of the year. So I think both these teams are going to be able to move the ball a little bit. I mean, Detroit kind of did what they wanted to last time against the Bills, and should be a good game. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. That Bills defense is just, I mean, anybody that I know in our last episode when me and Kraft broke down the games and gave you all those gambling things, we were like, that's a lock right there, that 9.5 on the Bills, and shit, the Lions almost went out there and won that game. So I mean, I expect this to be kind of a shootout as well.
Yeah. Ramondre Stevenson, he's obviously in your lineups. The running back 8 on the year. Ramondre, man, what would be the price? I was asking Dunk today. I was like, what's the word on Ramondre? And I'm just wondering what y'all think, man. Would we talk about a haul to get Ramondre? What you think?
It's all a risk to me. I feel like if you're going to go after Ramondre, you have to kind of call your shot that Damian Harris should be gone, I would think, next year. If you think he's going to be the number one for the Patriots for a while, there's not many running backs out there that could be better if you believe he's going to carry the load for him. So it's all kind of a call your shot thing. If he's going to be the starting running back for the Patriots, you could. There's not a price really. You can give up anything for him, but you still got to deal with the Patriots running back room. What do you think? What you think about it, Chris?
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I can't stand owning Bill Belichick's running backs just due to the way that it seems like he'll put. If there's 5 running backs on the team and he can play all 5 of them at one time, I feel like he will. But I just don't see nobody giving up a haul for him at this point. Like unless you know for sure Damian Harris is gone. I don't know. I feel like if you anything, you might have a little buy low. I mean, he is the number 8 on the year, but I still feel like his weight's not really. He's not up there with these other running backs that you've given up a lot for.
Right.
I feel that it'd be at least reasonable that you could probably go and stack him. So I'm still staying. I'm saying a little buy low. You can try to sell high, but I don't know if you can.
Jacoby Myers, he's questionable for Thursday. Banged up that shoulder a little bit. I imagine he'll play. Jacoby, but the thing is, just a quick turnaround since they playing on Thursday. For Buffalo though, Singletary. Let's see. He's hit or miss, but he looks good whenever I see him play. But is he a flex play for you, Kraft man?
If you got to throw him in there, I would. I wouldn't expect a whole bunch for him in this game. New England's got the best rush defense in all of football. Dalvin Cook last week, you remember that game? It was a shootout. Dalvin Cook against the Patriots had 22 rushing attempts for 42 yards last week. Patriots defense, rush defense is incredible. But if you have another option, I would definitely maybe like a Brian Robinson type play or a Pacheco. I would start either one of them over him. But, if most teams are probably, Devin Singletary would probably be in your lineup just based on volume.
Yeah, let's see. This wide receiver core just with Diggs, Davis, McKenzie. Me and the Kraft man, we've been kind of on and off McKenzie all year. He has some good games, but he went off last week. But it was Detroit's defense. I was gonna say something about Michael Mitchell hit me up last week. He was like, "Should I start Jacoby Myers or Gabe Davis?" I told him I was leaning Gabe Davis. Man, I tell you what, man, I would not want to be an owner of Gabe Davis. That dude right there, he is like an extreme version of Mike Williams, is what I've been saying. But this receiving core, though, what you think, man, with those 3 guys?
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm gonna stick with what me and the Kraft man said last time. I have Isaiah McKenzie rostered in our dynasty league. I'm still staying away from it. I feel that this team should involve Dawson Knox more than Isaiah McKenzie. And even then, with Jamison Crowder not out there, Khalil Shakir has been getting the work too. Um, I think that it's just, like I said, I'm going to chalk it up to the fluke last week for Isaiah McKenzie. He played the Lions defense. I'm going to stay away from him. But Gabe Davis, I mean, the volatility of Gabe Davis, I definitely agree with what Matt said. A more extreme version of Mike Williams. Like, Mike Williams on a bad day might get you like 5, but a Gabe Davis on a bad day is going to drop the goose egg.
Right, man.
Yeah, he's tough to start. I mean, one thing I gotta say about McKenzie is he did play his highest snap percentage all year, 73% of snaps last week. That's what we were looking for when I was saying he was a sleeper at the start of the year. So if you want to try to play him, like I said, New England's probably going to be shutting down the run, and I think we all believe the Bills can move the ball. And as far as Diggs and Gabe Davis goes, I feel like Bill Belichick's going to do his signature thing. He's going to double Diggs and put his best corner on Gabe Davis. So pick your poison.
Agreed. Next, we got Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Steelers favored by 1. The over and under at 42.5. Kenny Pickett, I was watching him play a little bit against the Colts. Definitely has improved a little bit. I thought he looked pretty good, ran pretty good. So I'm just saying that just for your super flex leagues. I got Kenny Pickett as a third guy, but Kenny Pickett, I thought he looked pretty solid. Like we said earlier, Najee Harris, it looks like he's not going to play. Correct?
He just missed practice today. I think I would base it on Friday's practice reports and see what's going to happen there, because he's been playing through injuries all year. He seems like a guy that'll try to get out there if he can. But my main question is, who do you start? Like, if Jaylen Warren if they say he's going to play, even with Benny Snell putting in a decent game last game, would you just throw Jaylen Warren out there against a shitty Falcons rush defense?
Man, look, this is what I was going to say about that situation. I think if Jaylen Warren doesn't get hurt a couple weeks ago or last week or whatever it was, and he was just healthy all the way up to now, I would for sure start him. I think now you got to be a little bit wary of it because he didn't even play last game. He was out last game. So I think this is just a running back room I'm trying to stay away from, if I'm just being honest. What you think, Chris?
I don't know, man. It's so tough not to play him against the Falcons defense whenever, my guy, old Deontay Foreman, goes out there and looks like a superstar playing against the Falcons. It is hard to stay away from, but he ain't been able to stay healthy. They may approach this, if he plays, they may approach this on a committee. So, I'm kind of with Matt right there. Stay away from it.
Yeah. There might be some gold, though. There might be some gold with this matchup. I mean, if you just to fill you out a little bit, Jaylen Warren, if Najee's out against Atlanta, or Devin Singletary, like we just talked about against New England, who would you start, Matt?
That one's pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie. Most of the time, I would say Singletary, but he's going against the Patriots, so. Man, I might roll old Warren out there. I mean, I'm in a league with these fellas, with these guys. I'm going to start Warren because I have to. But I'm just saying, I would try to avoid it if I could.
Here's another one for you. Since that one was a Thursday nighter, people probably ain't even going to be able to make that decision. But, Chris, what do you think about this one? Jaylen Warren or Gus Edwards against Denver?
Jaylen Warren against the Falcons.
Yeah, it's just a matchup play right there. Crab, where you stand on those?
Ooh, yeah, if Najee's out, I think Warren should be. I'm on the. Chris said it could be a committee, but Mike Tomlin usually just picks a running back, throws them out there all game. So it could be a total bust, or like I said, it could be gold or it could be shit. Either one.
We got Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Freiermuth. Freiermuth, you're obviously playing. Deontay Johnson, I'm sitting here looking at him now. The dude gets a lot of targets, but it just hadn't really worked out. He's like the wide receiver 40 on the year in PPR leagues or something like that. So I'm not really trying to play. him. Pickens. I don't know, man. Pickens, he does do some solid games, but he's more of a dynasty guy for me. And shoot, he just kind of moved up dynasty rankings for me. When I watched George Pickens play, I think he's as good as any of them receivers in the draft that just went in this past draft. So, but as far as like this week's goes against the Falcons, I'd be willing to put them both in a flex spot. In my opinion, what you think, Chris?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, shit, you got that one game where DJ Moore just ran all over the Falcons, and as high as I am on him, I mean, shit, anybody can really go out there and do that against them. I feel like this game, man, but I know me and the crap man talked about just dropping Deontay Johnson in a redraft. I'm starting to lean more towards that. Pickens is the guy. I know Pickens makes some, Pickens had some drops the other day that I thought he definitely should have caught, but other than that, he's solid. Solid player. If you picked him up in your dynasty leagues, you're sitting pretty nice, I feel like.
Craft man?
Yeah, this is a good matchup against Atlanta. George Pickens, he got the rookie hype, but like you just said, Deontay Johnson's wide receiver 40. George Pickens is wide receiver 41. So, but things have changed in recent weeks. George, Pickens last 3 weeks, 13 points, 16 points, and 9 points last week. And I think I'm actually on that's half point. So even better in PPR. But
Right.
yeah, Pickens I'd start. I wouldn't even mind starting Deontay Johnson in this game if you're just looking for a high floor play.
Plus, maybe with it's like I said, old Pickett, he looked a little better last week. If he's going to improve, maybe it makes the situation for these guys a little better. The Falcons, Mariota, he's a super flex play if you need him. He's going to run the ball, so it's that rushing upside. But Cordero, Algier, Drake London. Man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I was kind of okay with Cordero, and then when he came back, he reeled off 2 touchdowns. I think if there was any player out of all these guys, I'd probably want Cordero over all of them. Drake London, I think he's solid, but it's just they don't throw the ball. The Falcons don't throw the ball, so I would try to stay away from all these guys pretty much. But these are all just flex play guys. Well, Tyler Allgeier's not, in my opinion, but Cordero and Drake London, they're just like a flex play if you have to, but I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I'm off of Drake London for now. I'd find somewhere else to go. He's last 2 weeks wide receiver 76, wide receiver 49. I mean, you're not really getting much target volume. You're not getting much out of him right now.
Right, Chris, you got anything to say on these Falcons?
No, I'm in the same boat, man. Drake London, I just feel like you dynasty owners of Drake London, you're just waiting to see if that offense changes.
Right. Next we got Broncos, Ravens. Ravens favored by 8.5. The over and under's at 38.5. Pretty much that over and under's low because the Broncos ain't worth a shit. That offense is terrible. Russell Wilson, I guess he's a super flex play. Honestly, I mean, if you were asking me, Kraft, if I could throw in Andy Dalton or Russell Wilson, I'm definitely throwing in Andy Dalton. I mean, there's a lot of guys I'm playing over Russell Wilson these days, if I could. But, I think if I don't know if we talked about this, but Jerry Jeudy, do y'all know if he's back?
They said he was sidelined practice today.
So if these guys are gone, I think Sutton, he's a little bit startable. He's been double digit points 3 games in a row. If Judy's back, I wouldn't start any of them except for maybe Judy. And then Dolchich, I'd play Dolchich, but and then Murray. But Kraft, what you think about that offense? This offense has been terrible, but they got a couple of players you might could plug in. What you say?
I don't think I really don't think nothing about him that much. I mean, Sutton, like you said, he's okay. I guess I'd throw him out there. It's not the worst matchup in the world, but it's not a sexy flex play. It's just he's one of them. He's a hard one throughout the year. He's a hard one to figure out if you want to play him or sit him. And Murray, I guess you can keep riding the hot hand for a minute, and that's about it for me on this offense. I mean, Dolchich, I don't think I'd play him.
Yeah. Chris, Broncos offense.
It's the fraud, man. The biggest fraud in the NFL. Oh man, I hate watching the Broncos so much. Dolchich would have had a better day, but he caught a ball in the end zone for a touchdown, but there was a holding call, and them fucking offensive linemen, man.
Yeah.
But
Yep, I seen that. He was definitely in line for a better day. Lamar, we said it maybe last episode. We were kind of fading Lamar a little bit, but you're obviously starting him unless you just have a way better option. But yeah, we're fading him just a little bit. But this running back room's about to get a little more complicated again. Gus Edwards, Dobbins. I don't know about Dobbins playing this week, if he's even going to play this week, but I know he's back at practice. Kraft, you brought up Gus Edwards when we were asking, the scenarios or whatever. You got Gus, right, in a couple leagues, or at least one?
Yeah, he's on my bench right now. I didn't have to. I got Jonathan Taylor and Brian Robinson and Pacheco in over him, so that kind of tells you where I'm at. But
Yeah,
you could play him. Here's a scenario for you. Let's see. Would you play Gus Edwards against Denver, or would you try to play like Kareem Hunt, AJ Dillon, anybody like that? It'd be Gus, right?
I'd roll with Gus. Chris?
yeah, I don't want no part of Kareem Hunt at this point.
Nah, me neither. Or AJ Dillon, even though AJ Dillon did have a good game last week.
Yeah. What about Pierce, Damian Pierce against Cleveland?
I'd roll with Pierce over Gus Edwards.
Not you, Chris.
Yeah, I would. Just the way with the Browns defense has just faltered so bad that they're not stopping shit really.
That's just mostly like a Pierce has got the talent, but Gus might get the opportunity. It's just it's just you're taking a pick right there, like you're choosing talent over the opportunity in that one, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like Gus is like him and Brian Robinson are like spot dead on with each other. Like if they score a touchdown, they'll probably get 15 carries a week or something for like 60 or 70 yards. And if they score, it's a great week. If they don't, it's not.
Right. But pretty much it's Lamar, Mark Andrews on that offense, on that side of the ball. Other than that, it just is what it is. Mark Andrews may be a little banged up. I was kind of thinking it last week. Might still be a little banged up from the injury he had a few weeks ago, but it is what it is. You're starting Mark Andrews. Next, we got Green Bay, Chicago. The Packers are favored by 4, and the over and under is 43.5. What's the word on? We already said something about it, or maybe it was before we even started recording. Rodgers, he's gonna try to play, and we saw the way Jordan Love looked the best he's looked. So Aaron Rodgers is like, hell no, I ain't finna let that happen. I'm gonna get my butt out there and play, no matter how beat up I am. But what you say, Kraft? Aaron Rodgers is playing.
He should play. As a Packers fan, I want to see what Love got. As a fantasy guy with Christian Watson on my team, I want Rodgers to still be out there. So, I feel like I want to hear y'all's opinion on it. But, I mean, for a fantasy perspective, it's better that Rodgers is out there, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And with that said, there's only 2 guys on the Packers I want to play, and that's Christian Watson and Aaron Jones. I mean, honestly, I think the Packers. I don't think it's all bad for y'all next year. I think things could. I don't know what Lazard's contract looks like, but Dobbs, Watson. I mean, Watson's reeled off 3 good games in a row, so yeah, I don't think it's all bad for y'all. Tunyon, you might want to play him if you have to, but as far as like the Packers tomorrow versus Chicago, I'm for sure starting Watson for sure. Even with Jordan Love, we for sure starting Watson.
You got to. I mean, he's been so hot lately. You can't. I mean, what's that? 6 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, crazy.
Kind of tough not to start him, but I would I would debate starting Lazard in this game. I mean, the Bears defense is god awful. So, I mean, if there was ever a week to put Lazard back out there, and he kind of had a dud last game, but he's been solid enough this year. I like him over some of the other guys we've talked about. Like McKenzie, players like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
It sounds like for Chicago, Justin Fields is limited and may come back. If not, it's going to be Simeon. It looks like, even though I know what happened? He got hurt right before the game or something crazy, or they had to throw old Peterman out there. What happened? Didn't Peterman that one time throw like 4 picks or something in the first half or something crazy?
Yeah, he pulled opposite Mike White out there. He came in and did not do what he was supposed to do.
He pulled a rookie year Geno Smith.
Dude, you know what's crazy, Chris, is I don't know if you would even remember this, but a long time ago, it wasn't too long ago, when I think it was the year Clemson won the national championship, we lost to Pittsburgh that year, and Peterman was the quarterback.
I tell people all the time, they've been talking so much shit to me this year about us losing. I was like, look, man, we won a natty and we lost to a sorry team. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Trash. But other than that, Chicago, Montgomery's obviously throwing him in your lineup. To me, I think Montgomery has like league winning type. I don't know how the schedule unfolds, but I'm just saying I've never really been too big on Montgomery. But if Justin Fields is going to be missing time and no Herbert, I don't really like the passing options, especially if Simeon's the quarterback. So Montgomery's like the main option on that offense. What you say, Kraft man?
I'm with you. I've always liked Montgomery. I think, Khalil Herbert was really good. I'm not saying nothing bad about Khalil Herbert, but Montgomery's getting, last 2 weeks, 21 against Atlanta, of course. Anybody could put up 21 against Atlanta. But
Right.
14 against the Jets last week. 14 carries, 79 yards, and then another 3 receptions for 34 more yards. So I'll take 14 points without a touchdown. That's sweet.
Chris, man, let me ask you this. You got any interest in these wide receivers with Mooney going down for the year?
See, I might have thought that Claypool might have did something. But then again, this guy came out and apparently you would think he's the number one option. He caught 2 passes, or like 2 or 3 passes this last game, even with Simeon, with a completely different quarterback. I'm thinking Justin Fields is going to try to play because the dislocated shoulder, I think that's just going to come down to, that's just a pain injury to me, whether or not you can tolerate it. But no, honestly, I mean, I feel like Komet may be your best bet, honestly, out of all of them. I don't like none of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You with that, Kraft?
Yeah, I'm with it. But I like what Chris said about Komet, though. I didn't really, with Mooney going down, I think that's probably the guy that's going to take, him and Montgomery are probably going to get more work.
Right. We just gonna move on. We got Jacksonville, Detroit, couple 4-17s. This game right here, as of today, is a pick'em. So, and the over and under is 51.5. So you might want some players in a game like this. I know I would. Trevor Lawrence coming off the best game of his career. ETN though, a little banged up. What's the word on ETN? I'm thinking he's gonna play, but what have y'all seen? He was limited today.
Yep, limited today, so that just tells me it's 50-50, really.
Yeah.
I think he could play. It's just, I feel like it's what the coaching staff wants to do. They're not really competing for playoffs, so, and this is a young running back, their future. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they held him out just for the hell of it.
This Darrell Henderson, I'm not really big on him at all, but does he just take some carries away? Just like a few carries, you know what I'm saying? Like, ETN been getting a lot of the work. Does a guy like Henderson just come in, take 4, 5, 6 carries or anything like that? Does that worry you at all, Chris?
It doesn't worry me. I know me and the Craftman said that I think I think Henderson is a competent enough backup to maybe because of the way that they were running ETN with the way ETN plays, it's just not ideal to run ETN that much, being that kind of style that he plays. You
Right.
don't want if this dude is your future running back. You want to kind of give him a breather every now and then. And I think Daryl Henderson will be a good person to do that. 5, 6 carries here and there, maybe get taken away, but I still think that this offense is going to trust ETN to do what he does.
Yeah. Kraft, you on the same page or?
I agree, wholeheartedly on that one.
Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. What about Marvin Jones? Marvin Jones in your lineup?
Nah,
No.
I can't.
Christian
do
Kirk
that.
and Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. Zay Jones is automatically in though. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's every week flex play consideration anyway, unless you got a really good squad.
Yeah. Over here on the Detroit side, Jared Goff. Jared Goff is Jared Goff. He's a solid super flex guy. Quarterback 19 on the year. But over here, we got DeAndre Swift. We got Jamal Williams. We got motherfucking Justin Jackson. I mean, they all getting work. And I'm literally today, I was even texting Kraft, but I was asking him if I should do it. I traded DeAndre Swift for Pacheco and a low to mid first round pick. Definitely not a top 2 first round pick, but maybe like a 3 to 5 range, something like that. I felt good about that trade because I thought I was going to be holding the bag on Swift because I was getting worried about Swift because I don't know what the hell Detroit's doing. I mean, I just said last episode that I was just going to hold him through next year because I was getting some low ball offers, but my man Zamil Galani came and paid me a little something, so I had to ship him off. Kraft, what you think about that one? From a dynasty perspective, obviously.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the coaching staff over there in Detroit because he did deal with an injury earlier this year, the shoulder thing that Dalvin Cook usually deals with. But the highest rushing total for him since week 8 is 20 yards.
Yeah.
And if you add both rushing and receiving totals, the highest totals he's put up since then is 50 yards. That's with 40 yards receiving in one game. So, he's not even a ceiling play like you would expect. That's why people drafted Swift, was like he was going to be this breakout, but he's not a ceiling play at all. He's more of a safer. I don't even know if I'd say a safe floor play, but he's not an exciting play like you drafted him to be.
Right. Chris?
I'm in that same boat, man. I've always been kind of high on DeAndre Swift, just because, I've always thought PPR-wise, you got DeAndre Swift, you'll be all right. But even though you're still all right playing him, like Kraft said, you expect this dude to break out. But, yet he's dealing with Jamal Williams that, like we say every pod, the Lions are going to end up on the 1-yard line. I texted y'all the other day and I was like, guess who's on the 1-yard line, guys? Guess who's on? They were on the 2, to be fair, but that still counts to me. And you know what they did? Jamal Williams ran it straight up the middle and got the touchdown.
That, I'm telling you, man, no way that shit could be sustained.
If there was a prop bet that you could place for you gambling folks out there, is that the Lions will be on the 1-yard, I would take that. I would take that bet every game. I promise you. I would put $100 on that every game and just know that it's gonna hit. But man,
Especially this
Swift,
year.
like we're hearing, he's disgruntled. Dynasty wise, I said earlier, I think that was a good move you made. You got a mid first round pick. You got Isaiah Pacheco. And
Yeah.
Clyde's definitely on the out. His backup's Jerick McKinnon. So, he's definitely going to get to work.
Basically, with Swift, I had Swift and Jamal Williams. I was playing them both all year. It was paying off. I basically shipped them both out within the past couple weeks for Pacheco, a first, a second, and a third. So I felt like I did pretty fine on that. But heck, Amon-Ra St. Brown to the moon. We all know, or to the sun, better yet. He's the man. Nothing really to say. Good matchup versus Jacksonville. I feel like these wide receivers in both of these teams, they're going to eat pretty good in this game.
Yeah. If he had a sleeper play on Detroit's receivers, just for like a DFS standpoint because of this high over under, who would you take a shot on? Like Reynolds or Raymond, DJ Chark?
I would say Reynolds.
Reynolds. I think he's been kind of banged up the last couple weeks, but he was more solid at the start of the year.
Chark did have a touchdown grab last week. That's tough. I might would roll with Chark, but I really just I don't know, man. Would you be willing to throw one of them in a flex spot in a game like this? I think these offenses are gonna roll on. Do what they do.
I don't know. I mean, Khalif Raymond, he's really been the one getting all the snaps last couple weeks. I feel like I've seen him on the field way too much, a lot more than he should have been last week. But all of them really, I feel like it's just a DFS play, not a flex play.
Yeah, Jameson Williams today. I seen today he's at full speed running routes and stuff like that. So. Just for your Detroit Lion news. Next, man, we got the return of D. Watt. Cleveland Browns going to the Houston Texans. The Browns are favored by 7. The over and unders at 47. Man, listen, man, I've been agreeing with Kraft that Deshaun Watson is definitely going to look rusty, but I don't know about this week, man. I'm thinking I'm playing Deshaun Watson, but it's because I've been rolling with Kirk Cousins and Tom Brady all year. So I'm just like, fuck it. I'm throwing Deshaun out there. I think he'll probably go off versus Houston. Houston stinks, man. And now I can see Houston getting up for a game. This is the NFL, making it close. Deshaun being rusty, but I don't know, man. I just think Houston's just trash. So Deshaun Watson. I mean, where do you stand? You think he's gonna do anything, Kraft? What's up?
If he's gonna do something, it could be this game. And the Texans are just awful. I really think, though, the thing that everybody's gonna be talking about is Deshaun Watson's return, but Nick Chubb is gonna be the one everybody's gonna be talking about after this game's over with. Nick Chubb is about to go. And that's my number one running back for the week, guys. Number one scorer on the week, running back.
Yep, he's a bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, these wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Peoples-Jones. I know you was talking about Amari Cooper before we hopped on. What you thinking about him?
Now this week, I feel like Houston. We've even talked about that Houston is kind of like a trap for these wide receivers, because you never know. Like they could be getting blown out 30-0, and all of a sudden, them starters don't see the field again. But I think just once riding on this game for Deshaun Watson, that they're going to let Deshaun, regardless of, I mean, if they're blowing him out or if it's close, I think they're going to let Deshaun play this whole game and let his starters just run and let him get these reps. And me being the Deshaun guy, old Voldemort, Bill Cosby, whatever you want to call him, I mean, I think he's going to go out here and he's definitely going to be a little rusty. I mean, anybody that ain't took the field in 2 years, you're going to be a little rusty, But to come back to play the worst team in the worst defense in the NFL, this is the one game that you could come out and play good. I'm rolling with Amari Cooper easily.
Man, shit, Chris, it's funny that I totally forgot about whenever I was texting the fellas and like putting Deshaun Watson in trade talks, I was calling him Bill. I'd be calling him Bill. I'd be like, I got Bill for you. They was like, Bill. But I was like, man, the NFL Bill Cosby, man.
But like I said the other day, man, I don't think this controversy's over with. I think it's just going to ramp back up. I think people have forgotten about it, and as soon as this dude takes the field, I expect to have it. I expect to see it brought up again.
Shit, I'm just hoping they roll the ball out, and it's just time to play football. I'm sick of this shit.
I am too, man. I am too.
But look, another thing, I was saying this, Peoples-Jones, I was saying all year, these are like buy low guys, especially from a dynasty. Peoples-Jones, Bell, and Njoku. You might have a little bit of a window, maybe. Well, Njoku, no, I wouldn't trade Njoku. But, these guys like Peoples-Jones and Bell, if you were going to go get them. But I think it might be a little too late. But, shoot. Anything to say about the Browns, Kraft, other than them guys? And Njoku's, you're starting him for sure.
Yeah, Njoku's in. Cooper's in. I'm excited to see who he's going to feature, who he likes to throw the ball to, because Brissett likes tight ends. Deshaun Watson ain't never really been known for throwing to the tight ends a lot. I think the guy who has the biggest chance to step up with Deshaun coming is Peoples-Jones, based on his speed, his Will Fuller type, when Will Fuller was with the Texans. But, in this game, the announcers better be careful. If Browns are killing the Texans, they cannot say that they're abusing them or they're assaulting them. Like, they gotta be careful with their words in this game.
It's crazy that we're in a society where you have to worry about that kind of stuff, man. It really is.
I think it's funny.
I think it's. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think it's hilarious, but I mean,
people so soft out there, man. Houston, Damian Pierce. He's the only one I'm playing. And even then, you gotta hope this game's close if you want Damian Pierce to even be relevant. He's been just boo boo, dirty diaper boo boo these past couple weeks. He's been in my lineup. There's nothing I can do about it. But I like Damian Pierce, the player. If the Texans could step up and be a little bit closer, because Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins, all that shit that went down with them last week was just straight garbage points for them. I know Nico Collins got a touchdown eventually, but Cooks had a couple grabs. It's like that was just straight garbage at the end. I don't want none of them guys except for Pierce. What you say, Chris?
Yeah, I'm only rolling with Pierce. I don't like nobody on this team other than that. Brandon Cooks, I mean, he's a good receiver, but good God, this team just looks like shit, and I don't want to play it.
Kraft,
don't want to play him.
I think Damian Pierce is a good play, and I like how you almost call Brandon Cooks just straight up Brooks. I like that.
I got a Matt.
That'd be good. I think we should refer.
Old Jordan.
I think we should refer to him as Brooks from here on out, man. Brooks.
Brooksy. I wouldn't want to play him, and I wish he would have got traded. Next, we got the Jets going against the Vikings. Vikings favored by 3, over and under 44.5. I think we all ready to another game. I want to see another game with this Jets offense.
Yep.
I'm actually in that league. I got in the Average Joe's League, Kraft. I got a huge matchup with Phil this week with the poor man. I'm throwing in Elijah Moore, man. Yep. So I can't fucking wait. I'm gonna be all into the redraft league this week, man. Can't wait to see it. But yeah, Mike White. They're saying Michael Carter could play. Honestly, if you're just asking me, I'd probably want to stay away from this backfield. But I know there was a lot of waiver claims for whatever his name is, Zenovan, NC State guy. That's all I know.
Zonovan. It's like Donovan, but it's Zonovan. Zonovan. Hey,
it's funny because being a ACC junkie or whatever, I've seen him play, so I just think it's funny. But yeah, man, it's old Zenovan. Kraft, what you thinking, man? I don't like the running backs, but I like the wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I still wouldn't start Elijah Moore unless you had to, but like you said, you're going to put him in there. And, Garrett Wilson just blew up with Mike White. You got to have him in there. The running backs, as far as like the Jets go with Zonovan, and if Michael Carter plays, he's the only one that I want to play if he plays. But that's really about it. But like you were talking about this Average Joe's, man, I wanted to share to the people. From 3rd place all the way to 9th place, 7-5 or 6-6.
Let's go.
That's the records. Everybody from all the way from 3 to 9 has a chance to either get in or get out.
I'm hyped as fuck about this league, man. This is a good ass league that we're in right here. I'm in only one redraft league, and this is it. And this is for the marbles, and I'm going against poor man P. Miller. I cannot take an L. You got to win these next couple weeks. There's like 7-8 people. They have to win, or you could be out of this thing. So that's the good leagues, man. You got to be in some good leagues like that. Conklin, any love for Conklin? Maybe throw him out.
Yeah, I like him. I like him better with Mike White there. He's not like my highest ranked tight end, but if you're just one of them tight end streamers that just pick up one every week and can't figure out who to start, he'd be all right. 3 receptions for 50 yards last week. That's not terrible. 79% snap percentage. That's a decent streamer tight end.
For the Vikings, we got old Kirk Cousins going against the Jets. The Jets defense, they've been pretty good this year. They got some good players over there on that side of the ball. But Dalvin Cook, obviously starting Dalvin Cook. Had a tough week last week, but I would say look for him to bounce back. But we got old Jefferson, Thielen, Hawkinson, all in your lineup. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, Thielen. Well, I don't know, man. Thielen had a good game last week, but I think he's a solid flex play. But what you think, Kraft, about all these guys?
I think you can start. I mean, you're definitely starting Jefferson. I think you can start Thielen. The Jets are third against receivers, only giving up 27.5 points per game to receivers. So it's not a good matchup for Thielen. Dalvin Cook should be all right. And Justin Jefferson's going to probably eat. Don't really matter. I mean, he played New England last week, and everybody thought he was going to have a down game. And he was like, I don't really care if I got to jump up in between 2 or 3 people coming down with it.
Yeah. Yep, that Jets defense has been solid. You know, the Jets, and from an NFL standpoint, from the real stuff, they've been doing pretty good drafting. It's just all coming down to the quarterback. They can get them a quarterback. They might be kind of solid. I kind of like, you know, the way they've been drafting is the reason why I was kind of buying into Zach. I ain't gonna say buying into Zach Wilson, but at least saying, "Yo, this dude has no excuses." To that point, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
Yeah.
The Jets are kind of interesting to me.
It's gonna be a fun game to watch. There's a shit ton of good games this week.
Right,
a lot of good games.
Agreed. Man, next we got Commanders going to New York to play the Giants. The Commanders are favored by 2.5. The over and under is set at 40. Oh, Heineken going against Daniel Jones. And what's your thoughts on this game, Chris? These bums. Honestly, I hate the NFC East. I always have. I don't even think it. I do hate the Giants. I think. Well, I don't hate them, but I do think it's funny. It's just like, man, these teams. I don't buy into these teams, not even in 1 second. But here they are, 7-4, 7-5. I guess we'll just start with Washington first. Heineken. The beer. He let's see. Brian Robinson had a good game. Gibson. I mean, what do you, Kraft, just make sense of all this. Just make sense of the Commanders in general, if you don't mind.
I can't make sense of them. I mean, Robinson, you know, I've had Robinson all year, and he's impossible to predict. Do you think you got a good matchup and you start him, he does terrible, and then you take him out and he goes for 20 points against the Falcons? And, you know, this game, the Giants are middle of the pack against the run. They're not great. They're not terrible. And he keeps going back and forth. Like the week before, Antonio Gibson led the backfield in carries and touches. And then last week, Brian Robinson did. So I'm starting Robinson. And I'd probably start Gibson too as a flex play. And the receivers, Terry McLaurin's it. He's in your lineup, and I'm done messing with the other two. What do you think about it, Chris?
Yeah, I'm rolling with not Gibson, Robinson this week as well. I made a trade in our Dynasty League and got him. Thing I was excited last week about Robinson was he had a receiving touchdown. And, you know, for you PPR players, for a running back that don't really catch balls out the backfield, that's a little intriguing to see him get a little work doing that. But as far as other ones, I think you could play Gibson too, just because of the way that they split these carries. Wide receiver wise, Terry McLaurin's about it. I don't really want no part of Curtis Samuel, and Jahan Dotson just has fallen off completely.
Yeah, McLaurin and Heineke, they just have a nice little chemistry or something. Like he's always finding McLaurin. Yeah, Chris, you just alluded to that trade you did. You traded old Rondell Moore and got Brian Robinson. I mean, that was a pretty good trade, I would say. I was just gonna say, is Brian Robinson like Kraft? Is he someone you're interested in buying low, maybe even after the year or something like that?
Yeah, I think he could. There's an opportunity there where he could end up, you know, he's just not that talented though. He reminds like Alfred Morris. You remember when he was with Washington? It was kind of just a kind of a plotter out there that got a lot of work.
Right.
That's kind of what Brian Robinson is. You're kind of getting and I always say talent wins out in dynasty. So, um, until he did get shot. We did forget he got shot. So he might get better week in and week out. But from what I've seen of him right now, he's not super special.
Let's just move on to the New York side. Daniel Jones, a fine super flex play in my opinion, but other than that, Saquon's the only guy I want, and I think Slayton might be a flex play if you have to. But I mean, I'm not really too big on Slayton, but he has had double digits like 4 of the last 5 games in PPR formats. But it's pretty much Saquon or bust for me. And I like, just a little side note, old Bellinger or whatever. I think he might be a fine. I wouldn't mind rostering him on a deep dynasty league. Just just keeping him on my team. I think he's okay. Just from the top, you know how it is. You got 25 roster spots. I wouldn't mind slide them on into my taxi squad or something like that. But other than that, Saquon or bust for me. What you say, Kraft?
Same. I want to know what Chris wants to think about Darius Slayton. Like, would you start Slayton? Would you start Peoples Jones with Deshaun just coming back?
Peoples Jones, the Giants, man. And it's just unfortunate the way that they've had their receivers get hurt now. I mean, Wanda Robinson done for the year. Sterling Shepard at the beginning of the year tears his ACL on a route that doesn't matter. And then, I mean, it's just unfortunate, man. It really is. And I mean, they're out here playing with their third wide receivers, and it's tough.
Me personally, Kraft, I think I might would roll with Slayton just because he's the only guy to throw to. So it's like, I'm not high on him, but it's like he's who else you gonna throw to, really?
He's it. I think. Yeah, I would go with Slayton. But what about like Matt Collins for Vegas? Who would you start there, Matt?
Look, I'm just gonna say Slayton again. Matt Collins did have a touchdown, but I feel like I'm gonna have to play Matt Collins this week, but I'd probably feel more comfortable throwing Slayton out there.
I love how you always say, "I gotta start this man this week."
Listen, man.
I don't know if he sent you pictures of his team, but he ain't lying when Matt's coming on here and telling y'all he ain't got no choice. This man ain't got no choice but to start these people.
Dude, I'm barely throwing in lineups. And check this out, Kraft. There's 3 people in my league that will complain about injuries. I got more than all 3 of them combined, man. I got like 10 plus players on the IR. And that didn't even count. I had Swift and Cordero out for like 4 weeks earlier. Hey, but wait till Javonte comes back. My team looking scary for next season. But yeah, man. Y'all want to say anything else about these bums, or y'all want to move on to the next one?
No, we good. It's just bad when you got 3 IR spots in Dynasty and you got that filled up, and then you got 3 IR players on your bench. That shit. So I got that going on too.
It's just everywhere, man. But the thing is, I'm hurt this year. It's like, what are the chances it goes down like this next year? Hopefully, I'm gonna be one of the healthy teams, but we'll just see, man. Next, this is one of the games I looked at: Tennessee and Philly. Man, I want to watch this game. The Eagles are favored by 5. To me, that seems like a lot to me. So when we do gambling with Phil and I see Eagles -5, I'm gonna be sitting here like, thinking about that one. The over and under is set at 44.5. Ryan Tannehill versus Jalen Hurts. Man, I put out a little poll today on Twitter. Said who's the higher ranked quarterback in Dynasty? I did Jalen Hurts and Tua, and most of the people are saying Jalen Hurts. So I don't know. I was kind of leaning towards Tua. No. I was leaning towards Jalen Hurts, but I thought it was it was pretty close in my opinion. But Twitter said differently. It was Jalen Hurts by like 60-something% so far. Derrick Henry, baddest running back on the planet. He's just the best. But let me ask you this though, Kraft. Are you willing to throw Treylon Burks in your lineup in a flex spot?
Nah, not yet. Not yet.
Chris?
He's coming. He's coming up in the world.
Yeah. Chris, you willing to throw him in?
I don't know, man. Them cornerbacks for the Eagles have been pretty good. I know their safety went out the other day, but hell, that safety came in and played really well too. I can't even remember his damn name, but he was an undrafted free agent. He came in and he got a pick on like his second play in the game. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I wouldn't want to play Treylon yet, but if you are an owner of him in Dynasty Leagues, I think you feel a whole lot better seeing him play. He actually looked good the other day, last week. So, you
got
know.
him a little bullshit touchdown.
Yeah, man.
A little old Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry makes a big run and then fumbles the ball, and then he gets it.
Actually, maybe it was 2 weeks ago where he had that good game.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Everybody was scared against the Packers, man.
Yeah, so you might feel a little bit better about him, but yeah, I'm with y'all. I wouldn't play him yet. Eagles, though, you know how it is. Sanders is in your lineup. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, them guys in your lineups. Although AJ Brown, let me before I talk out my ass, been a little quiet since he blew up against Pittsburgh week 8, and then it's kind of fallen off just a tad bit. But this is what I've been saying AJ Brown is. He'll get you 40 or he might goose egg your ass. So, you know, but they're all in your lineup, though. What you say?
Wait, my phone's been ultra quiet with Dunk not blowing it up about AJ Brown the last couple of weeks. He sent that one message when he blew up for about 35, and then, man, he was like, so y'all say that CD's better, huh? So CD's better, huh? And then
now that you bring that up, I did see a poll. I saw a poll that directly relates to that. I saw one that they posted. I think I saw it on Facebook. No, it was YouTube. It was literally AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb. Who's better? And like you said about it was 60% Jalen Hurts. It was like 80% AJ Brown, and I was like, man, y'all are kind of fading CD. I think I just feel like the offense favors CD a little bit more over there than the Eagles do. But like you said, man, AJ Brown, he had that fumble the other day, and then Duncan was in the group chat talking about his team's ass. But as soon as AJ Brown makes a catch, he's over here talking about crown me, motherfucker, and I'm like,
man,
God damn, man.
I was talking to Dunk today, and I asked him about Stevenson, and then he was like, "I'm gonna need him for the playoffs." I was like, "You ain't selling yet." I mean, by now you ain't selling yet. But
he been trying to give me Stevenson all year, but he want Josh Jacobs, and I'm like, yeah, you're crazy, bro.
Well, shoot, I ain't gonna lie. From a dynasty perspective,
that might be good for that.
Well, but for this year, I ain't doing it.
I'm going for the ship.
Yeah, I told Zamil today. I said Chris's team's hot because Zamil told me. He said, "I'll let you pick. Do you want Chris's first round or you want Dunk's first round?" I said, "I want Dunk's." Chris's team's been hot. You and Will better watch out.
I'm the 4 seed right now. I was projected to be the 9 seed at the beginning of the year by y'all motherfuckers. I'm the 4 seed right now, dude.
Man, I
got the 3rd most points in the league.
Here's what I wanted to say. I wanted to comment on that AJ Brown CD. And real football, to me, it's not even close. I would rather have AJ Brown. But we're talking about like PPR, fantasy football, like CD. I like CD Lamb from that perspective. That's the only reason I haven't ranked high in the first place. Just if we're talking about the fake stuff, he's in the slot, he's on the outside some, you know. I like CD from that perspective. So, but from the real football, I'm definitely taking AJ Brown over CD Lamb. Agreed, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even
it-
plant my flag in that one. I don't know where Dunk got that from because I was like, I ain't even that high on CD. I didn't even plant my flag on that one. Like, I think they're very close in my book, but it was just
yeah.
funny.
He said I was a clown for ranking CD ahead of AJ Brown because I had him 3-4. I put Waddle ahead of both of them now, so you know it's close. It's all
gonna be
close for those
fun.
guys. Can't wait to do some dynasty rankings.
Mm.
That's like my favorite thing to talk about. So at the end of the year, we'll probably break down these
Yep.
team by team, but then we'll really hit on some dynasty rankings. Next, we got Miami and San Fran, and man, I can't wait for this one either, man. This offense going against this defense. This is a good ass motherfucking game. But how do you even see this playing out though, Kraft? Like this offense versus this defense. You think Miami stays hot, or you think they're gonna get slowed down a little bit?
I think offenses will prevail in this game. I think I'm going to try to take the over and hope for a good game. I mean, last time San Fran, they played, their defense has been hot. They gave up, last 3 weeks, they've given up 4 weeks, 14 points to the Rams, 16 to the Chargers, 10 to Arizona, 0 to New Orleans. I mean, but when they played Kansas City, they gave up 42. So I'm thinking, I think it's going to be an offensive game. I hope it's going to be an offensive game.
Yep, this says 49ers favored by 4, and the over and under is set at 46.5. And yeah, can't wait to do some gambling with the poor man. I might want to hit the over on that one myself. As far as this Miami backfield goes, Wilson, Mostert, how do you feel about them, Kraft or Chris? It don't even matter, whichever one of y'all.
I'm
Hey,
having to
Chris.
start Wilson this week just due to bias. I still feel good about throwing him out there. I think, last week he got a little bullshit touchdown for me, so ended up getting 13 points. He should have had a better day, but I mean they played Houston, so they shut that shit down. He got a little banged up going into the half too. I still feel good about playing him against this. I think that like Kraft said, I think offense is going to win out in these games. I think this is going to be a high scoring game.
Kraft, you feel the same way Chris does?
Yeah, I do. They did say Mostert could return this week because he was out last week. But yeah, this is going to be a good one. I like Jalen Waddle in this one. I like Tyreek in this one. I'm just thinking it's going to be hopefully it's going to be a shootout. But 46.5 over and under, that's Vegas kind of telling you that they don't know either. That's like right there in the middle of a shootout and the defensive game. So,
well, shoot, I think it's because these San Fran guys are banged up. Debo's banged up. CMC's banged up. I don't know, and then I'm with you. Yeah, but still, let's talk about San Fran. Jimmy G, CMC, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. Kittle's you're obviously playing, and I don't know what's the word on Debo Samuel right now. He's dealing with a quad, limited, and dealing with a quad issue. I imagine he's gonna play.
Yeah, he came back. I thought because I had Debo, and I was like, oh, he's out. But then he come back. Like I think it was like a dead leg type situation. He got hit probably bruised up. Probably feels like shit, but I'm sure he'll be out there.
What about CMC? I know he's dealing with him. Elijah Mitchell's out for the year, but CMC, let me just look real quick. Not practicing. I imagine he's going to play, though. I mean, I hadn't really heard anything about it. I kind of think he's going to play, but Chris, you got a CMC. What you think?
I think he's going to play. From everything that I've read about CMC, he's just been saying that he's just had a feeling. That's why he's been staying out. Like he said something. Anytime CMC's telling you he may think something's wrong with that knee or anything down there, you might want to listen to him because the dude has been hurt almost his entire career, and I think that he knows whenever something goes wrong down there, But I just feel like in this game, if he's able to play, they're playing the Dolphins. I mean, these are two teams that are looking to contend. I think he's going to go out there and play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question for y'all is it does Debo have a higher ceiling now with all these running back injuries, Elijah Mitchell being out? You think this might be a Debo game this time?
I definitely think that.
Yeah. I was just about to say, I think Brandon Ayuk, look out for him. I like Ayuk. And, with everybody else getting all the headlines and stuff, I think Ayuk could have a pretty good game this week. So, but yeah, Debo, I like Debo. So I'm thinking Debo. I can see a Debo game going down as long as he's ready to roll.
I'm with you. And one thing I always like to touch on with these tight end matchups and stuff, Miami is 30th against the worst. I mean, they're third worst against tight ends. So when teams can't stop tight ends, it seems to just happen over and over again. So I do like Kittle in this one.
Yeah.
A lot.
Let's just move on, man. We got Seattle, Los Angeles Rams. Seahawks favored by 7.5. I think we're all kind of in agreement. I even saw Aaron Donald is dealing with an ankle. I mean, I think they shutting it. And if I was them, I mean, I know they ain't got no draft pick or nothing, but it's over this year, man. They stink. They're about to start Bryce Perkins is what it looks like for the Rams. No Cooper Kupp. I think the only thing that I would even be interested in this game is maybe seeing Kyron Williams get some more touches. Let's just see what it looks like. But the O-line's so bad, it's like you're not really going to get a good judgment on it anyways. I mean, Kraft, do you have any interest in throwing out Van Jefferson in a flex or old Scourneck or whatever his name is? The other honky out there.
I'm good, man. Like you said, Kyron Williams, Cam Akers in this game. Like, if you're super desperate, I mean, you've seen what Josh Jacobs just did to that Seattle defense, but that's a totally different team with a different offensive line and a different quarterback. But Seattle defense, if they're out there, go get them.
Yeah, I was just about to say Seattle defense might be a boss play this week. Tariq Woolen might have a good. I mean,
Yeah.
Seattle. We talked about the Jets having some good picks and stuff. Seattle, to me, had one of the best drafts this year with all them picks that they got. I mean, they put together a good team over there. No Aaron Donald. I think Kenneth Walker to the moon this week.
Yeah, man. The Seahawks definitely got to feel like they just fleeced Denver, throwing Russ over there and getting all they got. I mean, sheesh. Man, you got to like Seattle. I mean, I've said it a couple times, but man, Kraft, man, shout out to old Mudbutt, a sleeping giant over there is what he said, Seattle. We laughed our ass off when he said that.
Yeah.
Here we
He
are.
didn't know what Fant was, too, though, so he was wrong about that one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yep, Kenneth Walker to the moon. Tyler Lockett. I mean, Tyler Lockett's the wide receiver 13 this year. So Metcalf going off. I say look for all these guys to get some good work this week.
Yeah. I like Kenneth Walker. Aaron Donald being out's huge because the Rams, they still were, as bad as they've been this year, they were still very tough against opposing running backs, and their defense was still, they weren't a good fantasy defense. They weren't putting up a lot of points, but, they were ranked pretty high in every category. But with Donald out, everything opens up.
Right. Next, man, we got Kansas City and Cincinnati, another big game. The Chiefs, they favored by 2.5. The over and under is set at 52, so Vegas is expecting some points. So you definitely want some players in this game. Real quick, we haven't talked about it too much. Jamar Chase, is this dude coming back this week yet, or is he still out?
Jamar Chase will be on the field this week. I promise you, Jamar Chase will be on the field this week.
Let's go, man. I can't fucking wait, man. And then my guy, Pacheco. I'm high on Pacheco. Well, I'm just playing. I'm just high as any of y'all on Pacheco. But, Pacheco will be in my lineup this week. Travis Kelce, obviously. The baddest tight end on the planet. And then... Listen, I'm going to say Juju's in your lineup, but the guy didn't really get much work last week. I think that'll change this week. I think you'll see a full Juju, full Scantling, the whole thing, the whole shebang. Both offenses are going to be unleashed. It's like we said, Jamar's going to be back. So these guys, I just can't wait to watch this game. But from the Kansas City perspective, Kraft, you what's your thoughts on them?
I like Pacheco in this game. He's getting plenty of carries and even scored a touchdown last week. And he's a good flex option, maybe RB2 option for you. And them receivers, just I guess it's Juju or nobody for me. And I'm not even trying to tell everybody to throw Juju in there if you
yeah,
if you don't have to, but
right.
Somebody's gonna eat.
Somebody is, and our guy Kadarius Toney ain't practicing, so we ain't gonna really say nothing about him.
What else is new,
He
man?
pulled his hamstring again last night, sleeping.
Chris, you got anything to say about Kansas City? These guys?
Oh man, I moved on from Juju early this year in the Dynasty League, and then as inconsistent as he's been, I'm kind of glad I did. But this big game right here, this is one of those games that if you watch the football games, you're gonna have red zone on, and then when this game turns on, you're gonna have this game playing somewhere else. That's how I'm gonna be watching this game because this is gonna be a good game. I'm expecting some points too, just like Vegas.
I agreed. Over here, we got old Joe Burrow. Joe Mixon's been in concussion protocol, but I'm going to say this. He's playing this week. There ain't no way they're going to let this dude sit out another week. I know they're trying to keep these players safe. I bet, I'd be willing to bet Joe Mixon's going to be out there. T. Higgins, Chase, Boyd, Hurst. Hurst, I always say throw him in if you need to. I'd avoid it, though. I mean, I've had to play Hurst a lot. We're 2 weeks in a row now. But as far as Higgins goes, man, he's the number 12 wide receiver on the year. Yeah, I mean, I would play any of these guys. I know Tyler Boyd's kind of cooled off a little bit, but, if depending on your roster situation or whatever, I wouldn't mind throwing Tyler Boyd in there over a few guys. So, nothing much to say, Kraft. What else? You got anything to put in with these guys?
No, they're solid all the way through. I like all of them. Maybe Boyd is a question mark, but all the other ones, Jamar Chase last year when they played Kansas City in the regular season, 266 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. So
yeah,
maybe I'd love if he could repeat that shit, boy. That would be.
That was his 50 bomb, wasn't it? When he got the 50.
55 points.
And I'm with you, Matt. I think Mixon's going to be out there no matter what. Me and Kraft had talked about on that one episode. I think that this just fell down to the name. I think that's why he got kept out of this game. Like me and Kraft said him before, if that was Snoop Connor, they would have told his ass to suck it the fuck up and go right back out there, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. You got to do it for publicity's sake nowadays.
Yep, agreed, man. Agreed. Let's move on, man. We got the Chargers playing Las Vegas. Chargers favored by 1.5. Over and under set at 50.5. So that's a solid over and under right there. When we talk NFL, the highest I see is really like 54. The lowest I see is like 38. I think I saw a real low one earlier this year, though. I want to say it was like 36 or something. Maybe it been last week. I don't know, man. It was real low, but 54 is about as high as I see. Herbert, I think Herbert's starting to look pretty solid now. Quarterback 9 on the year. Had a good game versus Arizona, but I mean, who isn't having good games versus Arizona's D? Eckler, the baddest running back, especially in the PPR leagues. What's the word on these wide receivers, though? Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Yeah, I want to say I heard Mike Williams was going to be back, even though he got hurt. But what's Kraft? You know anything about that?
He just said he was sidelined. Mike Williams was sidelined today. A re-aggravation of an ankle injury it's tough to predict ankle injuries. So I don't know.
Yep, I would just look to see old Keenan Allen. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm a little lower on Keenan Allen than I was just because he's been hurt all year and stuff like that. But, look for him to maybe have a big game. What about our guy, Joshua Palmer, a.k.a. Jordan Palmer? You willing to throw him in a flex spot? Or with,
Yeah.
let's just say Mike Williams is out, it's Keenan Allen. Would you be willing to throw him in a flex?
Hell yeah! If Mike Williams is out for sure. My question for Chris: what do you play him if Mike Williams is in? This is
Yeah,
over and
that
under
is a
time.
tough.
A lot of points.
That is a tough one. I'm gonna say yeah. Throw him in there.
Him or Lazard? I got that problem.
Old Jordan Palmer. Throw him in there.
Okay.
I think I'd roll Lazard.
I got Palmer in there right now. If Mike Williams is out, it's definitely Palmer. If it's I don't know, man. If it's
That's tough.
yeah, might have to flip a coin.
Vegas, we got old Derek Carr. Derek Carr been playing a whole lot better than he was towards the beginning of the year, but had a pretty decent game last week. Josh Jacobs, just the bad man. It says RB running back 2 on the year in this PPR league, so I guess Eckler's probably number 1. Let me just look that up real quick. Yep, so we got the top 2 running backs in the PPR league right here. Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams. Those are obvious starts. I have to start Matt Collins this week. I know he had a touchdown last week. I don't feel good about it, but he gets some work sometimes. But Kraft, Las Vegas offense. What you think about these guys?
Josh. Well, yeah, Josh Jacobs. If he plays, I don't know if I hit it on the news. They said he's not going to practice hardly at all this week. But if he plays, he should have another great game. The Chargers are 28th against running backs. They cannot stop the run whatsoever. And Devontae's gonna do what he does. It's gonna be. I want pieces in this game all over.
Right. Yep. I'm with you. Another game that I'm just kind of interested in. I'm kind of interested just because from our fantasy standpoint too. I know Chris got old Josh Jacobs, and Chris has been getting high. I'm just ready, man. Fantasy football's fun. It is. Even though I'm getting so beat up in the home league, like I'm sitting here looking at this redraft league, I'm like, let's go. It's tight. Shoot, man. Sunday night, Colts, Dallas. Man, I think I see it. Let me make sure. Yep, Cowboys are favored by 10.5. Over and under set at 43.5. I do think the Colts are going to be getting shut down. I think this is going to be a tough matchup for guys like Michael Pittman. I mean, I don't feel that way about Jonathan Taylor. I mean, you're always going to play Jonathan Taylor. And another I want to say about Jonathan Taylor is I know his numbers ain't as crazy as they were last year and stuff, but I still think this guy's a tier 1 RB dynasty guy. I wouldn't drop him that much. When I watch him play, he still looks pretty good. The Colts are just a shit show right now. My man Matt Ryan, good God. I mean, I don't think all this is his fault, but this is the oldest and most shittiest he's looked ever. Even with the Falcons, when I was saying he fell off, I was like, but he for real dropped off a cliff this year. But how do you feel about playing these guys, man? Any of these, other than Jonathan Taylor, how do you feel about playing any of these guys, Kraft? I mean, you probably got to throw Pittman in your lineup no matter what, but I just wouldn't feel good about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel. Definitely not a DFS play, but
hell no.
If you got to throw Pittman in there, I guess, like you said, I guess you got to. But I hate to always say that sometimes. Like, just because somebody got a big name, like you got to play him, you got to play him. If you got somebody else that's got a really good matchup, a la Christian Watson against Chicago or something like that, I would do that instead. But if you're sitting here looking at him or Scantlin or some shit or McKenzie or Elijah Moore, yeah, of course. You got to go with Paris Campbell. I mean, not Paris Campbell. Yeah, Michael Pittman.
Yep.
Not Paris Campbell. Do not start Paris Campbell in this game.
Don't do it. From the Dallas standpoint, because I feel like they might probably blow out. I'm thinking it's a possibility they're going to blow out the Colts this week. Pollard, Zeke. They both in your lineup. Is Zeke in your lineup every week? I mean, I haven't really had to be in this situation with the Pollard Zeke, so I don't know how people are playing it. Craft man, what you thinking about it?
Just both. Start them both in this lineup. I mean, in this matchup, like I'm pulling some you right now. I'm just getting all my words mixed up and shit. But yeah, I would start both of them. What about you,
Chris?
Chris?
You agree with that?
Yeah. Start both of them. Just they're both gonna get to work, and it's gonna come down to one of them might go off, and the other one might not do shit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm thinking CD and Schultz probably both gonna get some good work this week. So all these guys on the Cowboy, I'm starting to like. You know what? If anybody in that division looks like the best team, I don't know. Well, the Philly, oh man, that division is pretty good. I just don't buy
fall
into the Giants. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The NFC East is one of the most overrated divisions of my life. They've always been. I don't know. But yeah, Dallas, they look fine, man. With their defense, CD, Schultz, Schultz is going to get some work with Dak. So,
I think Matt Ryan's gonna be running for his life in this
yeah.
game. Honestly,
He might die. It might be the end of Matt Ryan.
It's a
That's what I'm
possibility.
Man, let's just move on, man. We got the last one, Monday Night Football. Man, that's funny because I ain't even all these good games this week. I look at Sunday night, Monday night's game. I'm like, fuck that. I don't even care about these games. New Orleans, Tampa Bay, big game for the division though. Since the NFC South is so damn bad. Buccaneers favored by 3.5, and the over and under is set at 40. What you think about the Saints offense? Andy Dalton looks like he's running the show. Kamara. I don't know, man. Kamara is just a fade for me, but I'll say that the one thing I'll say about Kamara is his playoff schedule looks pretty great. So it's like if you can just ride it out with Kamara. I mean, he hadn't looked good, but let me just look real quick. Week 15, it goes Atlanta, Cleveland, and Philly. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. At least you get Atlanta. It is what it
Atlanta,
is.
Cleveland.
So,
Yeah.
but Chris Olave, he's in my lineups without question. And I played Jawan Johnson in a league last week, and I think he goose-egged me. So that pisses me off. But he looks pretty good. He looks good whenever I see him, though.
I think he caught a touchdown, but it got called back.
2 targets. Yep, he goose-egged me. But it was San Fran. But yeah, man, I guess you're playing Kamara and Olave, but other than that, that's the way I roll.
Same. Their offense it's just too bad. And Tampa Bay's third against running backs. This is not gonna be a good week for Kamara. But maybe he'll catch about 5 balls and get you 10 points or so. I think that's probably like the ceiling for him is 10 to 15 this week.
Tom Brady, I would look to avoid playing him. He always struggles versus the Saints. So, but as far as the running back room, what's the word on Leonard Fournette? Y'all heard anything about him?
He's gotten fatter.
Gotten fatter. Rashad White looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think both of them will play in this game.
Yep. Then Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. You're obviously playing him. I'd be a little worried about Mike Evans from a dynasty standpoint. I would sell him to a contender if I could. I know Big Mike just sold Mike Evans for Christian Kirk straight up this last week or whatever, and I thought it was a ballsy move, but also thought I like what you're doing right there. So it's like. Yeah, try to sell Mike Evans to a contender if you can, and if you're contending, just hold on to him. But Godwin to the moon. I mean, you just expect him to just get target on target on target. 13 targets last week and a touchdown. So Godwin's the man. Yep. Anything to say about the Buccaneers or this matchup in general?
Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore for the Saints. He's questionable to play. If he plays, Mike Evans ain't doing shit.
Right.
Marshawn
He
Lattimore,
owns Mike
he,
Evans, dude.
he owns him. Yeah,
And it's even a possibility that they both get kicked out of the game again. I mean, them two go at each other every time they play.
He's in that
That's right.
head. But yeah, man, shoot, that about wraps up our breakdown for week 13. Man, we are excited about week 13, and we getting close to fantasy playoff time. I mean, it's there, but trade deadlines have already hit some leagues. The trade deadline in the home league for us is hitting this week. After these games, it's over. So good luck to everybody out there. Listen to the Cruise Dynasty podcast for all your fake stuff, wants and needs, your start sits. Man, hit us up, man. Hit us up on join the Discord, man, and hit us up. We need to start adding people to the Discord. We started it like 2 weeks ago, but then we had Thanksgiving, so we really about to start pushing this out there. Try to get people in here. So join the Discord, add the podcast, and give us a 5-star review. Add the podcast Twitter, crew_podcast, something like that. Just add it. It's all in the bio. It'll all be in the link descriptions and all that. I'll have all that. I'll have my Twitter on there. Chris, man, what else we got to say to these people?
Oh man, I mean, even if we're not popping up on that, you can literally just search the Cruise Dynasty podcast, and I think we should pop up on Twitter. These podcasts are on a bunch of streaming sites. I mean, you can get it off Buzzsprout, you can get it off Spotify. If you got an iPhone, the podcast app. I mean, it's all Chris, right there, man.
I want to say something real quick. That the podcast is literally on every platform except for like iHeartRadio stuff right now. I'll look into figuring out how to get it. If I know some people use that iHeart.
Yeah,
shit,
some people do. I just feel like the easiest thing for people to get on is the iOS and Spotify. So, I mean, if you're looking for quick accessibility, that's the way to go. Podcast app, Spotify, probably the easiest thing to hop on.
Yeah.
Craft man, what you got to say to the people?
I got to say the same thing y'all said. Hit on this Discord, and we got some place on here. Ask us some questions on here. Your start and sit questions. You can ask about the gambling, and every week we're gonna start when we do our gambling picks. Even if just say Matt and Phil are on an episode on our Twitter, we're gonna start putting out all of our gambling picks from each one of us. Yes. And we'll start trying to keep tabs on who's doing good. Have a little in podcast contest with the gambling aspect of things, and shit. Craig probably go undefeated, but other than
Craig the GOAT.
Craig's the GOAT. He's really the bear, but that's all I gotta say. Hop on there. Yeah, ask us some questions.
Like the craft man said, man, interact with us because we'll definitely get at you. This is the first year doing this shit, so next year we really taking these episodes up on a whole nother level.
Got some plans for y'all. I promise y'all. I've got plans.
This first year is we just doing it. We just out here getting it. We're laying the foundation. Next year, we taking it up a level. Hell, we on the Discord. So, it is what it is. But yeah, man, thanks for listening because I know we got a nice little solid following for us. So, some people listen to us every week. Every episode, I feel like. Maybe not every episode, but I know some people are paying attention to what we're doing. And so thank y'all for that. 5-star review. But yeah, man, I guess we out.
Peace.